Welcome back everyone, hope you're having a great weekend today. Of course, the news ain't stopping as we're getting closer and closer to the summer window. Now I'm going to be discussing two big stories today. Here the latest news surrounding Sir Radcliffe's bid to buy us. There seems to be a lot more to this story than there was yesterday. And of course, we are going to discuss Lukaku and his future away from the club, as Barcelona are the latest club showing keen interest to try and sign him. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please smash the like button, get involved in the comments. But before we get into anything, I want to get one quick plug out of the way first. Now I want to give a massive shout out to Sky Bet for having me on recently to discuss our loanee in Nathan Baxter. He's having an amazing season for Hull City, and of course Baxter has a real strong desire to represent the club and play for us one day. You know, I was joined by James Olcott plus many others. Very good video, very appreciative to be featured. And of course, if you guys want to hear my thoughts and opinions, and if you want to learn more about Nathan Baxter, then of course watch the video. You'll find a link below in the description and in the card above as well. So right now, let's talk Lukaku to get him out of the way before discussing the big news surrounding Sir Radcliffe. Now, this report came from Marca, and they're basically saying that Barcelona see Lukaku as their plan C, because their original targets are Erling Haaland and Lewandowski. However, if they get priced up for those players, or if the players don't want to sign for them, then Lukaku is high on their agenda. They actually report that Almeni and Jordi Cruyff have already held discussions with Lukaku's rep in Pastorello, just discussing how a move could work and if the player is interested in this. Now, you know, it's quite common for reps and agents to constantly hold discussions as the season progresses. You know, sometimes we get lucky enough to, you know, like get the scoops or get the insider sources, but you know, I really believe the story. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But the reality is, if Barca want him, it's going to be quite difficult because we still have to pay off 92 million out of this deal. And isn't that a crazy amount of money still? And I guess now it segues in very nicely to giving my thoughts and opinions. I think even though Lukaku most definitely has struggled this season, hasn't been as consistent for us or as helpful for the team, I can't sit here and just say that it's solely down to him and it's all his fault. I personally really believe that the system doesn't necessarily get the best out of him. And of course, with the many early reports from, you know, Thomas Tuchel talking in interviews, talking about how he hopes to use Lukaku as like the focal point where he'd be the platform to create space for other players. You know, essentially, you're kind of misunderstanding the player a little bit, because Lukaku has always been the guy that gets on the end of these moves. You know, at Inter Milan, it wasn't him setting off Lautaro Martinez, it was Martinez setting up Lukaku. And if you play to his strengths, you know what you can do. And when you do things a bit differently, of course, then of course you see these current season struggles. But you know, the reality is it too soon now to give up on him completely? I mean, there are some things going in his favour. The fact that he had no preseason with us, you know, maybe the fact that now he's a bit more acclimatized with his squad mates and with the team, maybe next season could be a lot more fruitful for him. But I guess that big if comes down to whether Tuchel will make some tweaks and adjustments to, you know, try and get the best out of Lukaku's game. I feel like these are fair questions that can be thought about from everyone. The reality is that he costs a ton of money. He's on over 300,000 a week. We still have to pay off over 90 million to get this deal completed. So it's not as simple as just writing him off and getting someone new. We're not Man City, you know, we can't do that type of stuff. We have to understand that we have to work within limits. And you know, a reality is, do we look to give Lukaku, you know, serious consideration for next season? Or is it the best thing for all parties now to find solutions elsewhere and for us to scheme up ways to get our money back for this signing? I guess ultimately when the new owners finally get announced, we are going to probably like get even more information surrounding the futures of many players, including him. But I want to pose this question to you guys. Do you think there's more life to Lukaku for next season? Or do you think from what you've seen now, that's that, and it's time to try and cash in and get him out? So right now we end things with a final massive story today. So right now we move on to the second big story today, and let's discuss the latest news surrounding Sir Radcliffe's bids. Now, yesterday I spoke about the fact that Radcliffe made an 11th hour offer to try and sign us and take over. However, currently as things are still standing, Todd Boehly is still the favourite to take over from Roman Abramovich. However though, we have more updates that dropped today. I'm going to use multiple sources to discuss the story today, from The Athletic plus many other journalists as well too. But, you know, to focus on The Athletic right now, you know, who is Sir Radcliffe? Now, I felt like their article today was pretty damning. It portrayed him as A Brexiteer who is a lifelong Man United fan, that's his childhood club, who of course is a Chelsea season ticket holder. He ran off to Monaco, of course, to avoid paying taxes when Brexit went through naturally. And when you go to Monaco, when you live there for like over 183 days, then it means that you don't have to pay any income tax, which is going to be very handy for a guy that continues to get richer and richer and richer. Now that he's moved to Monaco, he's essentially saved himself from paying 4 billion in taxes to the country. And I guess it's this hypocrisy which has kind of been endemic of this entire Brexit saga in that sense. Lots of false promises on how it's going to be better for us to leave the EU, how EU nations, they have to work with us, meaning that they are going to bend to our will and give us the deals and offers that we think are best. And of course, the reality is that it just doesn't work like that. And ultimately, we're paying the consequences from leaving the EU. And naturally, all the big advocates, all the guys who are staunch believers in Brexit, they've all ran off to save their money and keep themselves safe. I mean, we can go on about his character as well too. Employees at his chemical company in Enos, whatever they're called, they have criticized him because there was assurances that the company was really cash-strapped and struggling due to the pandemic, which justified them stripping them of pension benefits and, of course, freezing salaries for up to 3 years as well too. So, of course, during this entire time, that hasn't stopped him from investing in other sports clubs and, of course, watching his personal wealth grow more and more and more. I don't know, you guys, for me, I know with billionaires, for some reason, society, we have to kind of make excuses up for them. We have to kind of rationalize all the actions they take. There's like a grander logic behind how they move and operate that maybe us ordinary folks can't really be on that wavelength. But I think one thing I keep seeing all the time is self-reservation. And I don't trust figures where what you say, your actions don't follow. I'm sorry. I just don't trust that. We've been fortunate as Chelsea fans to have Roman as our owner, who kind of had, for his own personal benefits, didn't see the club as a profit maker, which has been helpful for us. But the reality is we can't be expecting that type of ownership from others. With Todd Boehly's one, as I keep really strongly saying, the fact that he has grouped together a team of experts who are all working in tandem together, using a strategy that was successful with the LA Dodgers, for me, he's got the credentials, he's backed it up, and the LA Dodgers are like a powerhouse too. So I have all my confidence in him, and I can accept that maybe things will update naturally. But, as I was saying yesterday with Todd Boehly and his efforts, he understands that he is going to make money, but he knows that to make money, he needs to have a successful team. It's not going to be either or. It's going to be both together, because that is the only way to grow. And I think for me, this is the owner that I think can even do better than our previous owners. But with Sir Radcliffe's bids, maybe just with the whole pandemic, how things are in society these days, all these stupid culture wars, XYZ, I just feel very disillusioned recently, having these thoughts and feelings that I never used to have before at all. And I just think that guys like this Radcliffe guy are just completely endemic towards everything wrong currently. But maybe I'm being super cynical, the world is a bit mad these days, you guys. But regardless, getting back to the news, it was confirmed that Radcliffe held direct discussions with Bruce Buck over the possibility of signing us. The offer he made was yesterday morning. And, Radcliffe's whole motto is that he wants a British bid to be made for a British club. He made the biggest offer by far, though, offering to pay 2.5 billion to Roman's charities. And he plans to commit 1.7 billion over 10 years, which was like a lot more than everyone else. But, it was interesting that he didn't even address Rain. He went straight to other figures to get himself involved. And reports are kind of alluding to the fact that he could be second in the running if anything flops with Boehly's group. He's currently the leader at this point in time, but if anything happens, then Radcliffe, due to sheer finances, due to having, government backing as well too, of course he's a Tory, he's got a lot of influence, and there's a lot of people in those type of circles. You know how it works, you guys. He has the connects and he has the money. For example, an advantage that Radcliffe has is that with his bids, it's going to be fully funded by his backing from his company, of course, and he can generate more money by increasing the corporate credit line at a whim. So he has the money, the resources, and he knows the right people. It's not the first time he tried to buy us. 2 years back, he made an offer. Roman wanted 2.5 billion. He deemed that too much. Then he bought Nice instead for 80 million. So it's not the first time that we've known that Roman has been open to selling the club. But now we're finally getting figures, I guess, that benefits all parties, and a lot more substantial than they were 2 years ago. But you know, to end things, you guys, there's a little bit of a complication though, because we know that he has ownership stakes in Nice and in a Swiss football club as well too. And Nice currently, they're about to be playing the you know, Coupe de France next week against FC Nantes, and if they win that, that's guaranteed Europa League football. But I think with the rules in Europe, owners can't have controlling stakes in clubs competing in Europe. I guess for competitive reasons, of course, naturally not the right thing to do. But today he released a report suggesting that Nice fans, don't worry. So naturally he'd probably have to sell his stake in Nice if he was to make a serious move for us. But today it was interesting because a report came out from him saying that, you know, Nice fans, don't worry. You know, nothing crazy is happening right now. He assured fans that he wants to see Nice competing in Europe next season. So let's see how this entire situation does pan out. But naturally, of course, he probably have to sell up. And I'd imagine that once he got further assurances and guarantees, then I'm sure his tune with Nice is going to absolutely change and become different. But you guys, that is the latest news that has dropped today surrounding Sir Radcliffe's bid and Lukaku news as well too. So tomorrow I am releasing the match review, and I'd like to do a stream as well. It's been a long time since I've done streams. If you guys want to see more live streams coming back or more watch alongs, then of course let me know in the comment section. And on that note, I'm in EFC, this is Blue Lions CV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.